I'm Steve Snyder for Time.com, and I'm here with Werner Herzog, the acclaimed director of Grizzly Man, Rescue Dawn. His new book, Conquest of the Useless, chronicles the turbulent, behind-the-scenes story of his 1982 epic Fitzcarraldo, a film based in Peru about a rubber baron who, in the midst of his conquest through the jungle, hauls a steamship over a mountain. Thanks for visiting us this morning, Werner.
Thank you for having me.
The first thing that jumped out at me in this book is how many times you almost die. I think I lost count. Maybe at 5 times. There's an airplane breaking apart. There's when your boat crashes in the rapids and the boat's battery gets ejected and hits you in the head. Was there ever a point where you thought, maybe I'm not supposed to be making this film? I mean, how many brushes with death do you need during a single shoot?
Well, no, I don't need it. I'd rather have a safe environment and do things calmly. But of course, you never know. Not long ago, I was shot during a TV interview like this here, right in the middle of it. But only slightly wounded, and I was actually shot at much more seriously during other film productions. So that's unpleasant.
So this is nothing new?
Nothing really new, but it's exhilarating to be shot at without success. So only men understand that. It's probably women do not understand this exhilaration.
Well, I mean, this is definitely not your standard filmmaking process here. And I mean, the whole collection of your writings here that you've put together, your journal entries, diary, well, not diaries.
It looks like a diary, and it was indeed written on an almost daily basis, but it doesn't have the ingredients of a diary, nor is it a book on the making of a film. It is sheer poetry or prose, and in all the turmoil of doing this film, my last resort, my last refuge was always language.
But also in the preface of the book, you talk about how you didn't really want to go back for a long time to look at these writings. Why were you averse to doing that for so long?
I couldn't do it. It was so terrifying that I never touched it. And a few years ago, my wife Lena encouraged me, go at it, you have to have a look at it again. And all of a sudden it fell in place easily. I could read it.
Were there things you had forgotten or were particularly fascinating or maybe traumatizing to
Many things I had forgotten, yes. Traumatizing, no, I wouldn't say that, because I have enough stability inside of me not to be traumatized. So if I were a soldier in a war, I would not be the one who would come back with a post-traumatic stress syndrome. I would not be one of those.
I'm interested in what maybe the most difficult moment was, because I was reminded a little bit of hearing about Francis Ford Coppola's struggles with Apocalypse Now. You say at one point in the book that you're flat broke and you trade 2 bottles of shampoo for 4 kilos of rice.
Well, the distinction between Apocalypse Now and my film is Coppola always resolved films with ready cash. There was always a lot of money flowing around. In my case, I was down, as I had to produce the film myself, I was down to the utmost limit. So I lived in a chicken coop, I had nothing to eat anymore. But I remember from Miami I had 2 bottles of shampoo. Well, one was shampoo, the other one was conditioner. And I traded it at the local market for 4 kilos of rice. And I ate rice for 3 or 4 weeks almost. So I survived because of 2 bottles of shampoo. Nobody can imagine how far down sometimes I was.
There were some pretty explosive private exchanges, though, between you and Klaus Kinski that you included in the book. I mean, did the writing of this book remind you sort of more potently of what it was like to work with him?
It does, in a way, although that was only 1 out of 5 films I made with him. But of course, a very difficult one. And to keep him on his feet and keep his sanity somehow intact was a major problem. I mean, to keep his sanity intact is not the right expression. He went outright insane and paranoid and hysterical, and sometimes we had during daylight, let's say from 6 in the morning until 6 in the evening, I would witness 5, 6, 7 tantrums, but sometimes I would last an hour and a half, until he was completely exhausted. He would have froth at his at his mouth, and it was particularly unpleasant facing 1,000 native Indian extras that we had there. And for them, there's never a loud word. You never hear any loud word. They're very, very tender. And they came to me and they wanted to kill him for me.
Well, was there one thing that went right about the whole production? We have rivers that are flooding and then bottoming out where your ships are running aground. We have actors who are being temperamental. We have airports that are being shut down because of strikes.
You can tell, yes, there's a result, there's a film at the end. So I persevered. I out-persevered all the turmoil, and I outgutted and outwitted all these forces. When everything had collapsed, I had a meeting with all the financiers and all the partners and TV station which had some money invested into it. And they couldn't believe that I was going to continue and start all over again, because I had to throw half the film away. You cannot erase an actor. Today you could do it with digital effects, but at that time you couldn't do it. So I had to start all over again. And they said to me, do you have the strength? Do you have the perseverance, the stamina? Do you have the guts to go into it all over again? And I said very simply, yes, because I would be a man without dreams. And I do not want to live without dreams. So no matter what's going to happen, I'm going to go back.